Okay, people, so a lot to talk about with this week's episode of Dragon Ball Super. Obviously, I'm standing up a little bit different. But my gosh, for starters, I think I want to start off with talking about, is it just me, or did it feel like this was straight up some Dragon Ball Z movie that we never got to see or something? Like, the way the Warriors, the Universe 7 Warriors, or the DBZ fighters, the Z fighters, so to speak, were all linked up together there, facing this ANILAZA guy, I can't pronounce his name, but the big Hachiak-looking motherfucker, the dude that looks like the monster from the old OVA or whatever. Like, just seeing them all stand together, there's this one shot that just looked absolutely amazing, seeing them all lined up, getting ready to attack this guy. Like, honestly, it felt like a straight-up classic DBZ movie, and I could do nothing but say, I love it. You know what I'm saying? Like, if it gives me something like that, which is something very, very different from the norm of what the Tournament of Power and Dragon Ball Super has given us thus far, because up until this point, it's kind of given us, like, you know, either some really cool, like, Goku versus Jiren, or some one-off, you know, decent shit, or some downright horrible stuff. You know, it's given us a wide variety. I think this is the first time I can say in Dragon Ball Super, aside from the ultimately readapted first two films, where some episodes feel straight up like they could have been part of a movie. And who knows, maybe this was either inspired or an original movie that they were thinking about doing, and then they just decided, let's add this combination warrior into the Tournament of Power and call it a day, because the setup, everything about it, it just felt straight up like, okay, this is Dragon Ball Z, we're in the final act, everybody's getting their shit together to take this dude out, and again, just praise up the ass. There were so many different aspects about this episode. I guess I'll start off with the art and animation. Looked real sick, especially, again, those shots that I was just mentioning of all the warriors where they're all blasting at this guy and everything. Like, art and animation, sick as hell. But then you also have some really impactful and emotional moments. I guess, for starters, the biggest one, or the most emotional one for me, was 18 taking the L, getting eliminated in order to save 17. I think she did that for a couple different reasons. For starters, she knew she was at the end of her rope. I think she realized, like, I can't go much longer, you know what I'm saying? For crying out loud, she almost got eaten. And if that was Attack on Titan, because it looked straight up like Attack on Titan, 18 would have been eaten, okay? If this was a different series, she might have gotten eaten. But she knew her time was up, and her brother is way stronger than her anyway, so she took the L in light of, you know, saving her brother, which, honestly, it was a nice little emotional moment. I think 18 and Krillin and that whole small section of characters that a lot of people were like, why are they even involved in this shit, especially Krillin? But, like, you know, 18 was another person that people were like, how strong, how much can she really contribute? But no, she contributed a lot during this tournament. And these people that, again, the weaker fighters, so to speak, have had those moments that you're like, damn, like, for example, Roshi, one of the people that people doubted to the extreme and back. People were like, and in the beginning, I was guilty of this myself. I said, why is Roshi involved in this Tournament of Power? He has no business here, and it proved me wrong. So 18's moment in this episode, saving 17, really great stuff, and it allowed for the setup for the finale of this episode, where all of the, I believe, the 5 remaining Z Warriors, we got Goku, Vegeta, Gohan, Frieza, and 17. So, yeah, the 5 remaining fighters to take out that monster. I mean, as a character, like, you know, depth-wise, you know, with his leader and everything, like, didn't feel like anything special. It kind of reminded me of the Yu Yu Hakusho tournament. During the Dark Tournament, there was a fight. I can't remember the dude's name, but it was an evil scientist, and essentially it was the same scheme of, like, hey, we're going to create this big and nasty monster. So it was essentially the same type of deal. So kind of gave me vibes of that as well. But, again, it was just doing, like, a typical or classic, shall I say, not typical because they don't really do this anymore, Dragon Ball Z, big monster, we gotta take him down, let's go. And also, I mean, if there's people that are gonna say, well, okay, you know, you win the argument, it was cool, there was some good fights, but what else did we get out of that? Well, we got major progression. We got another universe down, leading into seemingly the finals, the final 2 universes, Universe 11 and Universe 7. That's a pretty big deal, seeing Universe 3 going out. Now, the whole thing with the God of Destruction, you know, the robot God of Destruction thing, again, am I kind of mistaking how this works or whatever? Because, like, I really would love to see him talk. Also, a quick thing, and I know I'm scatterbrained or whatever, but I'm just kind of talking about it as it comes to my mind. In regards to, I think that was the invisible guy that finally showed up. Again, I could be totally mistaken, but there was some creature thingy that showed up towards the end of the episode before Universe 3 got eliminated, and he even looked like he had like a God of Destruction thing around his neck, so that definitely caught me off guard. Like, is that a God of Destruction? Like, what was going on here? So we got to see again, I think that was the invisible guy that showed his true colors. If not, it was something else that was just hiding, and we never got to see. Maybe that was the small little, I don't know exactly, to be honest with you. Again, my brain is scattered right now, but I think that was the case. So whatever, I guess a nice little mystery there as to why the hell he would have a God of Destruction stash thingy around his neck, but not the biggest deal. And I mean, as a whole, the episode, though, what it provided and what it set up, I think, especially in comparison to the past few weeks where we've kind of had some, I want to say, dare I say it, duds. We've had some duds where it was just kind of like, where are we going with this? I think this episode, and based on the preview, which we'll talk about the preview in a whole other thing, because there's just so much to say about that incredible preview. In fact, from what I've seen, more people are talking about the preview than the actual episode, and I think to a certain degree that's unfair, just because, yes, the preview is more central to the plot, more of what we're looking for, more of what we want, but the episode as itself, it stood up very, very well. I think it did a great job of just bringing a different dynamic to the Tournament of Power that we haven't seen previously since it started. Again, just one big monster. Now, there are going to be the nitpick arguments, which is what makes this not, okay, it's not perfect. Far from it, honestly. Like, giving it the score right now, I'm going to tell you, I feel as though it's going to go very underrated because of the legendariness of the preview, but it still, it held up very, very, very well. We get a lot of insanity and just a different dynamic again. Going back to overall wrapping this up, is that it was actually a genuinely good episode, very good episode. I'm giving this one the 8 out of 10, so that speaks to the level of quality. But again, just getting the setup of now we have the final two teams. We got rid of the last one, which honestly, like for the ace in the hole, it was interesting. I'm not a big fan of when they go the route of like, let's just create a big monster and we'll take them down. When has a big monster ever really, you know what I'm saying? Ever since David and Goliath has been a thing, you know, we kind of always go the opposite direction, so to speak, where it's like, okay, the little guys is going to kick the big guy's ass. So wasn't a big fan of that, but again, getting that out the way, it leaves open room for, there's still a decent amount of time left on the clock, enough where, you know, the way they've dragged this out, we'll have episodes upon episodes of, we got Dispo, Topo, and Jiren versus, so it's 5 versus 3 of the remaining ones leaving left, what this episode left. Again, I see 17 being one of the next ones to go. His contribution based on 18 save, I think is more than enough that, okay, 18 saved him, but he still got to eliminate, you know what I'm saying? Which will still leave us with 4 very vital characters, I'm not mistaken again. Goku, Gohan, Vegeta, and Frieza. Of those 4, Goku's obviously lasting towards, you know, till the very end. I think there's a possibility. I think Goku and Frieza will be the kind of final ones. I think, honestly, and again, this is contrary to what I want and contrary to a lot of popular belief based off that one ending that had Goku and Gohan, I do think Gohan's going to be the next to go after 17. If 17 goes, then it'll be Gohan, and it'll be the 2 Saiyans, you know, Goku and Vegeta, 2 full-blooded Saiyans, and Frieza versus, maybe by that point, I see maybe Dispo getting the L by that point, and getting out of there. So again, that's just my perspective. Again, overall, this episode, I believe this is episode 121 of Dragon Ball Super, if I'm not mistaken, could be wrong, but it was a fantastic episode. Absolutely loved it. It was something different. Was it perfect? No. Did it contribute to the overall Tournament of Power? Yes, it definitely did. Getting rid of Universe 3 and some little interesting quirks there. The art and animation, I can't stress enough. Honestly, one of my favorite shots all year was seeing 17, Frieza, Goku, Vegeta, Gohan, all of them with their auras charging up to take out this Krusty from Universe 3. Kind of curious what you guys' take is on this episode. What do you think about it? Did you get the same vibe as me, that it felt like a Dragon Ball Z movie, seeing all of them lining up against the big monster? Did you not like it? Maybe you're not a big fan of those type of things. Maybe you just felt it was generic. Again, for a TV anime to kind of incorporate that in the middle of a giant arc, I think that's pretty dope. So again, 8 out of 10. I expect the next episode, which I don't think will be next week. I think we have a break next week, if I'm not mistaken. So the following week, the next episode is going to be even bigger and better. If this was an 8, next week it can easily be a 10, or even, you know, sometimes when I get too crazy, I say 11 out of 10. So again, your overall thoughts, what did you think about the final fighter of Universe 3 and the fact that we're down to Universe 7 versus Universe 11 for the finale of the Tournament of Power? Did you think the episode was dope? Did 18 steal the show, saving 17 at the cost of her getting eliminated? Again, your overall thoughts, Dragon Ball Super episode 121, if I'm not mistaken. Again, this episode, hype as shit. A Dragon Ball Z movie in Dragon Ball Super. There you go. But that's all I have for this one. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you liked anything I had to say or enjoyed the video, drop me a like. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you want more from me, make sure to subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and do a little stalking on my Facebook to get more when the video ends. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day. And remember the golden rule. Anime and manga for life, boy. Bow. Have an awesome day.